is the head of our lives. To honor to the First Lady, to all the saints here with the truth. We thank the Lord for the final Sunday in April, going into the 5th month. I wrote something down on my paper, and was it right? I wrote down 5:30:17 to 4:30. I was jumping to the 5th month before we even got there. 4:30/2017. Once again, we thank the Lord for word of truth. I know we had storms last night. They quieted down, they picked back up, and they quieted down, then picked back up. Around about 7 o'clock, the Lord began to impress in my heart to go ahead and do what I need to do. I was sitting there kind of watching TV, and I got from TV, went into my shower, shaved, began to put my message together. Finished there with a Sunday school lesson. I had my dinner, took my medicine, took a sleeping pill, had my prayer, got to be around 11 something. I was going to watch the TV till I fall asleep. And then the song rose up again. And as Mr. Ingram knows, when you have direct TV, this picture goes out. Indirect TV. So I was fine to cut it off. So I laid there in the bed and tossed and turned and had a lot in my mind and drifted off to sleep about 1 o'clock. By 1:30, 1:20, something, I heard a boom. Oh, man. It blinked. I said, maybe they'll come back home. And everything went black. 1:25, no power. It's okay, you can go to sleep anyway. Still didn't go to sleep though. Tossing and turning. There's something about when everything's quiet, it's just too quiet. Sometimes you need a little noise to go to sleep. It's too quiet. So finally I went to sleep about 2:30. Got up this morning and still no power. Getting still. I said, Lord, now, if I had any sense of the eye in my shirt before I went to sleep. But just so happened I had a brown shirt that was not wrinkled. Ain't God good? I got my light, got it, put my brown shirt out, put my little beige suit, and I'm here at church. I know things happen. Things happen. Mr. Ingram's car in the garage. Power goes out. Can't lift the garage door. But she had a ram in the bush. Her sidekick, her buddy, came to her rescue and got her to work. She, one of the waters called me, explaining everything. Pastor, I got to do this, do that, got to go get it. Okay, fine, go ahead, do what you got to do. Went back and got Sister Carolyn Griffin, brought her to church. Went back and got a friend, brought her to church. Taxi cab.
Thank God.
Then went by and picked up the Shamanda to bring her to church, but it so happened that they were able to get their garage door up. And she got her vehicle out and she's here.
Amen.
The saints, we thank God today. We were able to be here and you have a desire to be in God's house no matter what went on last night. Tonight I want to, today rather, I want to invite your attention to the Old Testament book of Deuteronomy, chapter 20. Thank God for my daughter today. She's been Facebooking my messages and live streaming them, and the same thing on Friday nights. And my son got quite a few hits on Facebook for his message. Thank God for him. He's on his way. We're going to go to the 20th chapter of Deuteronomy, and we're going to read 4 verses and 4 verses only. It's something. This is what the 5th book of the Bible. You should be there right now. And we're going to stand for the reading of God's word, because we're only going to read 4 verses. Everyone, please stand. And it reads, when thou goest out to battle against thine enemies, and seest horses and chariots, and a people more than thou, be not afraid of them. For the Lord thy God is with thee, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt. And it shall be, when ye are come nigh unto the battle, that the priest shall approach and speak unto the people, and shall say unto them, Hear, O Israel, ye approach this day unto battle against your enemies. Let not your hearts faint. Fear not, and do not tremble. Neither be ye terrified because of them. For the Lord your God is he that goeth with you to fight for you against your enemies, to save you. Thus is the reading of God's word. Let us pray. Father, in the name of Jesus, I stand before you as a willing vessel to be used by you. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight. O Lord, my strength and my redeemer, give me clarity of mind, thought, and speech, that I bring forth thy word on this afternoon. More to thank you, Lord God, for watching us last night through the storm and the rain. Now to be here on this Sunday to hear what you're going to say. I stand before you as a willing vessel, Father, waiting to be used by you. I thank you for all that you're doing, all that you're going to do. Let your approval be upon this message. Let your salt be shaken upon it, Father. Bless it, that only you can and will. We ask these blessings. In Jesus we pray. Everyone said, Amen. I want you to do as we often do it with the truth. I want you to turn to a neighbor and repeat just 2 words. Find somebody and lock eyes with them and say, fear not.
Fear not.
Turn to someone else and repeat the same words. Fear not.
Fear not.
Lord, a hand pray.
Amen. Amen.
Now, Moses was to tell the people by instruction of God some things they need to do when they were going to face their enemies. Not just one enemy, but enemies. And he began to talk to the priest. He also talked to the captains. But the main thing that I took out of this was the priests were the ones that spoke to the people, the children of Israel that were going to fight. It seemed to me a bit strange that God would have the priest to talk and not the head of the army.
Right.
It was not the general. It wasn't the captain or the strategist. In this case, it was the priest. And the priest was saying to them, just before they were going to approach or fight or engage the enemy, he began to give them words of encouragement. He says, and it shall be when you are come nigh unto the battle, that the priest shall approach and speak unto the people, and shall say unto them, Hear, O Israel, He approached this day unto battle against your enemies. Let not your hearts faint. Fear not. Do not tremble. Neither be ye terrified because of them. For the Lord your God is he that goeth with you to fight for you against your enemy to save you.
Yes.
And I began to wonder why was it needful at this time. Because when you are facing an enemy that is numerically superior and has probably better weapons than you have, it can cause fear to sit in your heart.
Right.
When things don't seem to look like they're going to go your way, when it looks like you might lose, fear will set in. One of Satan's biggest tools is to come in and intimidate you.
Right.
The Bible says, when the enemy shall come in like a flood,
Right.
the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a stand against him.
Yes.
So Satan comes in with a lot of stuff.
Yes, he does.
He brings a lot of things at one time.
Right.
He wants to overwhelm you.
Right.
He wants to get you scared.
Yes, he does.
If he gets you scared, then battle is halfway won.
All right.
I'll begin to think about a friend of mine that I met at the gym. Young man by the name of Jerry. And he was at the gym working out with me. Started last year before last. And he would come in and he would talk about the Word of God. We would discuss God and how things were going. And he unfortunately had an accident on the job. He tore up one of his shoulders and messed up really bad. And he had to have surgery on that shoulder. And they told him, they said, Jerry, if you go and have the surgery, the job said this, the chances are you won't get your job back because you'll be gone too long. And now when you lose wages, you'll lose your coverage.
Wow.
And he began to get fearful because everything was against him.
Yes.
He got to begin to get nervous about it. He began to talk to me about it. I said, Jerry, we want to pray. He was going to the gym trying to strengthen his muscles up. And still he had to have surgery to repair all the torn cartilage in his shoulder. And last year, he went and had the surgery. And it took him about 6 or 7 months to heal.
Wow.
And when he came back to his job, they told him, we got to fire you.
Wow.
But we'll hire you back at a lower wage. He lost his insurance coverage. He began to feel a little bit upset about it. He knew before he had the surgery that things were against him. Fear was about to set in.
Right.
But he began to pray. He began to see the hand of God move.
Come on.
So Jerry went on and had the surgery. And I saw him last week. He touched my shoulder at Dwight. Things began to happen in my favor.
All right now.
He said, I went back to my job and they let me go. And I began to go home. I began to pray. Me and my wife came together.
All right.
And I got encouraging words from my wife.
All right now.
He said, God is trying to tell you it's time to leave that job. Y'all ain't hearing me.
All right now.
It's time to step out
Step out.
Right.
and do something different.
Come on.
He was afraid about it first. He said, you know what? I began to hear what you were telling me. I went somewhere and began to try to find a job in construction. And he began to open up his own business.
All right.
He said, now I got so much business, he don't know what to do with it. He's now fixing up houses, remodeling those houses and selling them and making a living for his family.
Come on now.
I said, Jerry, how'd you do it? He said, well, I took my 401k from a job, invested in me and my business.
Yes.
And now I got a business of my own. Not working so hard. God came through for me. He said, I began to read the 20th chapter of Deuteronomy. But God told the people, do not be afraid. Don't faint and do not tremble. I began to read the 20th chapter of Deuteronomy and I got the courage for myself. I was not afraid to step out on God's word. I was not afraid to start my own business. I'll move as God will. Now, saints, let me say to you today, as a people, we face enemies all the time. And fear is always there. The fear may not be for you to go and run into a closet and hide, or either try to put your head under your covers. But there's always something in your life that's got you a little bit afraid and a little bit uneasy.
Right.
And it comes at you sometimes more than one way.
Right.
And when it comes at you, Satan is saying, I can get you afraid. Maybe I can mortify you. And mortification means you're too afraid to move. You're ashamed to move. And you can't hear God. What Satan does not want you to do is hear God in the midst of your fear. But Satan, let me tell you right now, you cannot hear God when you're too afraid. Calm yourself down. Make sure you hear God. Then move. So we have, here he is, the children of Israel getting ready to fight their enemies. And now they need some courage. Come on, saints. And I found out last night, one of the first that they needed was the courage to even fight. The courage to even face the enemy. A lot of times just facing the enemy takes courage all itself. Once you get the courage to face them, when you get to the fight, all the fear leaves. Satan don't want you to fight. He don't want you to face it. He wants you to cower down. So God had to preach to come remind them, when you go out, not only is God with you, he's going to fight for you. Y'all ain't hearing me. I come and tell you today, not only is God going to be with you, he's going to fight for you and save you. Because God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and a sound mind. And God supposed to be last night and said, a sound mind can keep fear away. When you're thinking clearly, you don't get all anxious and begin to weed out at what might happen. So when the priest went before the captain said, let's tell every soldier not to be fearful. But you mean, Pastor Stegall, because fear is contagious. If your fellow soldier is scared, then he's going to get scared too. So bring it down to the soldier, that everyday foot soldier. Tell them, be of good cheer. Because God is going before us. Go boldly before your enemy. Why? Because there's no danger when God is leading the fight. Come on, saints, but you got to know that you're not going into the battle all by yourself. But it seems hard for the church folks today to even realize that God is fighting for us. It seems hard for us to wrap our mind on the fact that no matter how bad things look, we will come out victorious. Say, let me tell you right now, when things come into your life that you never expected before, that can bring fear. We talk about things that we've never even seen before. Unseen dangers, changes in your life can cause fear to set up on you. Things that are not familiar to you. Most of the time, when we get bold, I know what Satan sees, but what are we you don't know? Things you cannot see, things you don't understand. Why is this happening to me now? When sudden things come upon you.
Yes, sir.
Changes.
Yes, sir.
That you got this year. You didn't have last year.
No.
Y'all ain't hearing difficulties that was seen before. These things bring fear. But you know what? When you begin to tie into the fact that God will never leave me nor forsake me, no matter what the changes are, no matter what comes against me, I shall not fear. The priest said, don't you tremble and don't you let your heart faint. Come on, saints. Don't you give up. Even before the battle gets started, you see what was happening was Satan wanted to become so intimidated until they wouldn't even start the fight. Have you ever seen something that was terrifying? You almost faded behind it. You see, we got to see Satan, he used the Freddy Krueger style of attacks. Freddy Krueger, be afraid, be very afraid. That way I can win this battle very easily. But saints, I'm going to tell you something. We got a leader up in the White House right now that got elected on fear-mongering. He told the people everything is terrible and everything is not going right. But I, along as Donald Trump, I'm going to fix it. And folks begin to believe that lie. Satan comes the same mess. Everything around you is falling apart. Where you going to turn? Not Ghostbusters. I'm going to turn to the Lord. And you know what? Once I get my heart fixed and my mind made up, I have no reason to fear. I will tell myself over in the night by reading this word, fear not. Be afraid. Because God got my back. He's got my front. He got my up. He got my down. And all around, I have no reason to fear.
Yes, Lord.
Right now we see around us. Last night, a whole bunch of people were afraid. When the storms came up, a lot of them were scared that a tornado will come and blow them away. What was I doing? I began to rebuke the wind and the rain. Yes, I did. The prince of the power in the air. I said, you know what? I'm going to use the word of God. My fears shall be calmed. I rebuke the Lord, allow them to go around us. Yeah, it blew down some stuff. Yeah, some things began to happen. Yeah, my power went out, but nobody was injured. Nobody was hurt. Nobody was put down. Because God was fighting for me. God kept me safe. And should I fear? I don't think so. Fear. And this day and hour is the biggest enemy of the church. I'm serious. It's a crying shame that we as a body of believers have allowed fear to overtake us. It may be some personal issue that you're dealing with. It may be the fact that you've gotten a bad doctor's report when you went to the doctor. It may be the fact that the job might play out. It may be the fact that the loved one may leave you. I don't care what it is. Whatever the enemy brings it to you, there's two words you should tell yourself. Fear not. I am not going to let fear get the best of me. I ain't got time for it. You know why? What's fear? False evidence appearing real. That's all it is. Satan put that stuff up in your face and you watch that stuff and you look at it too long. Before you know it, it gets in your mind. It gets in your spirit. And before you know it, you back it up.
Come on now.
Come on, yes.
So true.
There was my friend of mine some years ago. And he said he would sit up late at night. Big old strong guy. Big old muscles. Very athletic young man. He said, Dwight, I was sitting up one night watching Freddy Krueger. I was by myself in my apartment. He said, I watched it back to back. And when I got through, I began to hear things outside my door. I got fearful because what he did was he allowed that fear on that TV set to enter into his heart. He was afraid to go to sleep because fear was a spirit, and that's the spirit of fear that Satan brought to him. And you know what he did? He accepted it, and before he knew it, he couldn't sleep. He couldn't even turn the lights out. Thought Freddy Krueger will be behind the door. Satan is always pulling that mess or trying to put it on the saints, trying to get you to focus on the fear. Come on, saints. We need to get our focus back on the Lord. He is there for us. He's there to fight for us. Not only to fight for us, but we're going to win.
Yes. Amen.
I like what priest said. He's going to be with you. But the Lord is not just there to spectate.
Amen.
He's going to do something. And you see, Satan already knows that the believer that knows that God is with him is no match for Satan. I mean, Satan no match for him. He knows he can't win. When we realize who we are and who we belong to.
Right.
God is there with me.
Yes.
I remember when I was growing up, I had older brothers, Come on, saints. If I had a bully trying to get hold of me, I know I had big brothers to go and fight my battles for me. I'm going to get my brother Calvin, an ex-Marine. He going to cut the windpipe off. I know what he could do. And don't you bother me because my big brother come and get you. I felt confident in the fact I had my big brother back me up. Why can't we take the same attitude when it comes to our God? He's got my back and he'll cut the devil's wind off in a minute and try to mess around with his children. I'm a child of God and God is there for me. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear?
Come on.
The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? When my enemies and my foes came upon me to eat my flesh, they stumbled and they fell. Though an host shall rise against me, when this will I be comforted.
Yes.
One thing I desire from the Lord, and that will I seek after.
Yes.
That I may behold the beauty of the Lord. God, I missed part of that. But anyway, y'all got the gist of it. The part I want you to get was, whom shall I fear? Who am I going to be afraid of? What can Satan bring to me that will cause me not to stand firm and face it?
That's right.
What can he tell me that will cause me to cower down and run for cover? The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. This Monday, don't be fearful today. I know things are going in another direction. I know the things there were times when you would think certain folk would be there. But whether they there or not, just know that God is with you.
Yes.
Come on, saints. Because he said he would come to try to knock the prophet money you. And God will allow it to happen to get you to start depending on things that is not of God. We begin to put our hope and our trust in people. God said, no, they're not the ones who protect you. It's me.
Come on.
Fear not.
Amen.
Fear not. So the priest began to talk to them about that. And after they had gotten the word from the priest, now they can go out and fight with confidence. Y'all ain't hearing me?
Come on.
It's been passed down from the priest to the captains, down to every soldier.
Right.
Don't you worry about this. God is with us and going to fight against your enemy.
Right. Enemy.
Right.
Y'all ain't hearing me?
One enemy.
There's more than one enemy.
Yes, sir.
Which means more than one, y'all ain't more than one victory. Everybody you come up against that's considered an enemy will be defeated. They had to know this before they went into battle. You don't want to go into no fight uncertain where I might win and I might not. Can I tell you right now, whenever a fighter went to the ring, they went in believing they could win the fight. If you ever go in unsure, you're going to lose for sure. Say, I'll tell you right now, when you stay with God, keep your eye on the Lord, victory is assured.
Come on now. Amen. Exactly. Yes,
Sometimes to get victory, all you need is reassurance.
right.
All you need is to get your head in the Word and get yourself some reassurance.
Come on.
Y'all ain't hearing me? Because times happen, things go wrong in life, and we tend to forget all the privileges and all the rights and all the weapons and all the authority we have in God. Y'all ain't hearing me? I watch sometimes the coaches that they train their players well. And they go into a game, but sometimes they forget about fundamentals.
Right.
What they practice to get the way they need to be. And the coach will call a timeout.
Right. Come on now.
And gather the truth. And reassure them, or remind them of the fundamentals they taught to go and win the game. Sometimes you need a spiritual timeout.
Yeah. Come on.
While Satan's attacking, let me fall back and regroup. And go back and get a reminder of what God is to me and what my weapons are. Y'all ain't hearing me. Knowing this, that the weapons of warfare are not carnal, but mighty to pulling down of strongholds. Let me remind myself that the name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous range and are safe. They remind us of all these things. Go back and fight again.